Welcome to Bullion Bulletin. Now, Mr. Marcus Grubb is with me. So, my first question, I have always a confusion. If you worked previously in WGC also, so
That's right.
you are the perfect man to make a difference or making a study between a relationship between gold and platinum.
Yes.
So both
Yes.
as a I always feel that why platinum is way behind to gold when comes
Yes.
the question of people's choice of investment or people's choice for a metal or for jewelry for adornment. So gold first, then platinum second. But
Yes.
both are the precious.
I would agree
metals.
completely with that. I mean, of course, especially in India, gold will always be king.
Yeah.
I remember doing a presentation in Mumbai when I was a younger and more naive analyst, and a gentleman came up to me and said, Mr. Grubb, I thought your presentation was excellent, but what you don't understand is in India, gold is God. And once you understand that, you'll understand the market. And I haven't forgotten that. So platinum is always going to be second to gold, no doubt about that at all. But what is very interesting is that platinum has many of the same properties as gold, but if you own some, it's a better diversification against just owning gold, because there are certain times when gold will not perform so well and platinum will perform better.
Yeah.
And so there are reasons why if you have, say, a 10% or 20% of gold, you might want to take 1 to 3% and buy a little bit of platinum instead as a hedge against your gold position. That would be number one. And the main reason is because platinum is used in more industrial uses as well as having similar properties to gold.
Right.
You know, it is used in jewelry and it's growing very fast in the jewelry market in India. A brand called Avara is growing at 15 to 20%. And among the gem set type of jewelry, it's in some countries it's even bigger than gold. Not so much in India, but in other countries like Japan and elsewhere. The diamond mounting is done more with platinum because it's a harder metal than gold. So it holds the diamond better than gold does. So it is already used in adornment and in some other areas of investment as well. But the main thing is the industrial uses mean that it performs a little bit differently from gold and from silver too, because of the use in cars and because of the use of industry. So our recommendation is that it is a good diversification for people to have a little bit of platinum. That's really the essence of our argument.
Okay, before I ask about the investment, platinum as investment asset, just first, very quickly, I just wanted to know, still the South Africa and Russia, they are the supplier of mined platinum to the world.
Correct.
So,
South Africa by far the largest.
South Africa by far the largest.
Yes. Yeah.
So, why we are not seeing any new locations? Is this a lack of exploration, or platinum is not there at all, except these two locations?
Yes, it's definitely it's not. It would appear to not be there. Platinum is found in the Earth's crust very differently from gold and silver. Many of those deposits go back thousands of years and have been documented in early civilization. Platinum was only discovered rather later because it tends to be deeper than gold and silver, and it's much harder to work and to mine as well, and to melt. It melts at much higher temperature to extract it from the rock.
Right.
So really that's the reason why it seems to be a lot more difficult to find platinum in deposits, and as a result there are only really two major deposits in the world. The Russian one, which was discovered in the 1920s, which is now a lot smaller because of the mining, and the second one, the largest, is in South Africa, where there are about 8 mining companies, and something like 75% of all of the production now comes from those mines in South Africa, and one huge deposit in the north of South Africa that goes slightly into Zimbabwe, and that's the largest single deposit in the world. And there are only a few other small deposits around the world, which is completely different to gold. In gold you have 20 plus major mining companies, hundreds of smaller companies. Right. You have deposits, hundreds of gold.
New discoveries coming.
New discoveries all the
locations
time.
are coming.
Yes.
But that is not visible in platinum. So that always ignited me to think why it's a lack of exploration point. Or there is no deposits at all.
No, many of the larger mining companies have sought to find more platinum, Anglo-American Group being the largest. They're about a £20 billion capitalization in the London market, and they have failed to find more deposits. So it seems to be a geological phenomenon.
So quickly, you have a very less time. I should not take much of your time. Very quickly, this Singapore, you have launched some investment product with Singapore. I mean Singapore
Dealer.
exchange.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you are also tied up with Indian company
Yes.
to promote the investment grade platinum.
Yes.
So
Yes.
so far so good. And for next, how are you expecting the market will behave? Over?
Yes, well, I have my speech this afternoon, so I
Yeah.
don't want to say too much now.
Yeah.
But we do think the market looks better in the second half of the year, and many analysts are divided on this as far as platinum's concerned. But we see a more positive future, largely because the supply is still very constrained from the mining side and recycling, and we think that the car demand will remain stable on diesel, because there's a lot to talk about on the diesel side. There's lots of newer innovations coming, fuel cell cars
Fuel
coming,
cell cars.
new regulations, which mean the car makers have to put more platinum into the diesels to make the pollution less. So a lot of the bad news about platinum, I think, is very much reflected in the market today. And there's newer developments coming that will be more positive. So on that side, I think. And then looking at our activities, when we're traveling around the world, as you alluded to earlier, we find that platinum is much less developed as a market than gold. So there are many countries where consumers want to buy platinum, they're interested, and it's new to them in many cases as well, even in India as well. But they can't easily purchase it. So we're creating new products to bring platinum to a bigger audience around the world. That can be new ETFs, deity products, medallions,
Royal Mint.
bars, the Royal Mint deal, absolutely, deals in China. We have a deal we're pursuing in China to bring more platinum to that market. So all over the world we're seeing a big opportunity to expand demand.
My last question, that discount, platinum's discount to the gold price.
Yes.
So I don't understand why it is continuing year after year. But actually, platinum price was always higher than gold.
It was historically.
But suddenly, historically, but in last this decade
About
also,
3
I
years.
have seen last 3-4 years.
Yes.
It's a discount. So how long you are expecting this will continue?
Well, it's hard to say that because we don't make price projections because we're not a regulated company. But if you look at the history, this is the cheapest platinum has been against history and gold for about 40 to 50 years, and it's been at a discount to gold for about 2 years or so, nearly 2 to 3 years, which is unprecedented historically. Usually it's higher price than gold. So we do expect it to narrow that discount and eventually go back to its normal state, because it is a much scarcer metal than gold. There's much less platinum.
Scarcer than gold, right?
Yes. The only reason I think it's been in the state it's been in is, one is that there was a stock of platinum investment built up in the big run-up in the price. Platinum went above $2,000, higher than gold, only about 5 years ago. And those investors, as the prices come down, they've been selling the bars back into the market. It was around 4 million ounces. It's now about 1.8 million ounces of stock. And they're not selling as aggressively as they were before. And so we think now the market is a lot tighter than it was 4 or 5 years ago. So we believe that period of underperformance of platinum is coming to an end, because the supply is very low, the stock has been sold out, and the demand is still continuing to be strong in jewelry, cars, industrial, and growing in investment. So, it may take a little while, but I think if you're a contrarian investor, this is the time to look at platinum. You like gold, you don't buy gold when it was $2,000. You buy it when it was $900. Platinum is in a similar position today, so we think it's very interesting.
I am definitely investing in platinum back home. Sir, your word about this SBM's initiative of this conference and your participation. Just a few words associated with this Asia Pacific.
Well, I think it's an excellent event. Our thanks to the SBMA. We're a supporter of the SBMA. Particular thanks to Albert Cheng, who's a friend of mine. We used to work together many years in gold. He's done a fantastic job to pull this event, the first Asia Pacific Precious Metals Conference, together. So it's an honor to be here, and special thanks to Albert for putting all this together. And the WPIC is very pleased to be sponsoring SBMA, which makes sense to build on Singapore's position as a hub in ASEAN and Asia markets. I think it's a great initiative. So, and I'm looking forward to my speech this afternoon.
Thank you, sir. Thank you talking to Bullion Bulletin.